Welcome to Craft School. I've designed a brand new frosted paper anemone, and I'm going to go through the steps and show you exactly how simple this is to make. For materials you'll need frosted text weight paper. I have quartz, fairway, and onyx. I also have an 18 gauge paper covered floral wire, pan pastels in pearlescent red and bright yellow green, and I've printed my pattern. You'll find the button to download this underneath our video. The tools I'm using are my craft scissors, detail scissors. You can also use a cutting machine, my needle nose pliers with the wire cutter, paper curling tool, low temperature hot glue gun, a soft bristle brush, and some pan pastel sponges. For each flower you'll need 6 pieces. I have 2 sets of petals, a leaf, the back of the flower, and then the 2 center pieces. Now I've cut these out on my cutting machine, but you can also use your scissors. I'm taking the centers of my petals and using my pan pastels, and I'm mixing the color a little bit. I'll start here with my pearlescent red and just dab a little bit. I like to use the curved edge. Dab a little bit and start in the center and then just brush it outwards towards the tip of the petal. And I would say I'm probably coloring about 1/3 of the petal. Then I'll take just a touch of this green and add it into the center there. And to finish it off, I like to use this soft paintbrush and just use it to blend. The sponge seems to move the color off the paper quickly, so that's why I like to use the brush, because it has more of a blending effect. And I'll do this on both of these flowers, only on one side. I'm only going to see the front side, so one side works perfectly fine. You don't need a lot of pastel. A little bit goes a long way. So here's my finished coloring, and I can run my finger over it and it really doesn't move. The next thing I'll do is use my curling tool, and with the colored face down, I'll just run the petals right over the tool like this. Then turn it over, and just the tips, I'll run my curling tool around all 3 edges. When I'm working on these anemone flowers, I like to make sure that each petal is curled a little bit different. You know, all of the petal sizes they vary because you don't want them to look too uniform. If you look at a real anemone, they do have a lot of variation. So again, curl it one direction, turn it over, and then curl the tips the other direction. I might even, take one corner and flip it back the other way. So the leaf, I like to start in the middle, go one direction, turn it over the other direction. I'll do the same thing on each side so you can see how it goes back and forth. And then the final 2 like this. So you get a really curly looking leaf. This is the center that we're going to make into a ball. And these are so delicate that you have to be a little bit careful when you are curling them. Sometimes I'll hang on to them right at the base so I don't rip them off. And I really want to give this a nice curl on the tip because we are going to form this into almost a ball. I'll then just use my fingers and fold it right here at the base. You can see almost a direct sharp fold, even kind of run my finger along to crease it. Then I'll use my fingers to press it into a ball. And that's ready for the center. And then again, these are even tinier. These are almost eyelashes, so very gently curl each of the tips. This is something you can take your time and maybe test it on a piece of scrap paper so you can get the feel of how the paper curls. So again, just the tips on that, and then I'll use my fingers to kind of bend it in a little bit. I don't want it to be too even. Again, give it some variety so it looks really natural. We'll put glue on the back side of the circle and place that right in the center. Glue right in the center of the first set, and then I'll place the second set across so that we have the petals rotating really nicely. Another dab of glue there, and the center goes in. So I have my 18 gauge wire. You can cut it short if you want to, and I do like them a little bit shorter, so I'll go ahead and cut that off. I'll use my needle nose pliers to, I would say, 1/4 inch on the tip. Bend it at a 45-degree angle. And then this piece slides right onto the stem. You can see how the wire just lays right on the top of this backer piece. Add quite a bit of glue and then place that on the back. And you might want to hold it until it cools. And while you're holding it, you can remove all your little glue strings. Glue strings happen. And then the last step is to add the leaf. Sometimes I like to cut these pieces off the back, or I'm just going to tear it in this case. I don't really need it. I would want that if I were taping it onto a stem so I have separate leaves. Add some glue right onto the base, turn that over, and place it right up against the bloom. For these flowers, you'll see the greenery will be pretty close underneath the head of the flower, and I think that having it right underneath adds that nice dimension, especially when you're working with paper flowers and creating a bouquet. This flower has so much detail, but as you can see, it is easy to make. So now you can make a whole bouquet.